Kalra and welcome back to my channel 5 Minute Economics, where I teach economic concepts in the span of just 5 minutes. The topic for today is measures to control inflation and the concept of inflationary and deflationary gap. So this is basically kind of the part 2 of the previous video on inflation which I had made. That video dealt with inflation, the causes of inflation, as well as the demand pull and cost push theories. I'll attach the link in the description below. So in this video, what I'll be discussing is the measures to control inflation, the monetary and fiscal measures. If you are not clear with the concept of monetary and fiscal policy, I've made a video on those two as well. I'll attach the link of those two in the comment section as well. And then I'll be explaining to you the inflationary and deflationary gap along with the diagrams. So yeah, let's get started. Also guys, don't forget to subscribe to my channel in case you haven't already. So firstly, coming to the measures to control inflation. So what is inflation? When there is a lot of money supply in the economy, there is a lot of money, and what we want to do, we want to control that excessive money supply in the economy. So monetary measures are those measures which are set up by the RBI. So first point and third point I'll explain you simultaneously: increasing bank rate and increasing the CRR. So under case of inflation, what we do, bank rate is the rate at which the central bank lends to the commercial banks, whereas CRR is the cash reserve ratio, which is a certain amount which the commercial banks have to deposit with the central bank. So what RBI does, they tend to increase the bank rate and increase the CRR so that it is difficult for the people to have money in their hands, right? Because CRR and bank rate both have increased, thereby controlling inflation. Next, coming to selling of securities in the open market. So please make sure you don't get confused with selling. So what happens is, already economy में बहुत सारा पैसा है. So here what they will do, they will sell the securities. जब हम securities बेच देते हैं, what do? We kind of absorb the excessive liquidity in the market, thereby controlling inflation. Okay, and lastly is increasing the margin. So, when you go to a bank to take loan, for example, hypothetically, you pledge your property for 10 lakhs. You wouldn't get a loan for 10 lakhs, right? You would get a loan for maybe 8 lakhs. So that 2 lakh is our margin. So during the case of inflation, RBI increases that margin. So margin बढ़ गई, maybe you will just get now 6 lakh loan after pledging a property for 10 lakh. So that increase in the margin will try to, curb the inflation in the economy. Just for your information, deflation, which we'll be studying thereafter, has taken all of this in the opposite or vice versa situation, where we decrease bank rate, decrease CRR, we buy securities and decrease the margin. So next, coming to the measures to control inflation through fiscal policy measures. So fiscal policy is a policy set by the government. Two things which should come in your mind immediately when you hear the term fiscal policy is taxes and public expenditure, because that is what the fiscal policy comprises of. During the time of inflation, where there's already a lot of money supply in the economy, what will government do? Government will obviously increase taxes. They want to take money from the hands of the people so that inflation is curbed. And secondly, they will reduce the public expenditure at such a time, because already there's so much money supply. Government should unnecessarily not invest more in public expenditure. So that is the case of inflation. However, in the case of deflation, you already know what's going to happen. We will decrease taxes as well as increase public expenditure. So moving ahead and coming to the concept of inflationary gap. So inflationary gap concept was developed by Keynes. So as I told in my previous video as well, and now repeating again, is Keynes said that the phenomenon of inflation is a phenomenon which occurs when we have reached the level of full employment. So basically he said increase in money supply increases the output, right? But beyond the full level of employment, we cannot increase the aggregate supply, because already people जिनको job मिल रही थी, जिनको employment मिल रही थी, they are all employed. So when the aggregate demand rises, it ultimately pushes up the price. That's what we studied, right? So now coming to the diagram. So we have this y is or equal to E is an equilibrium or an income line which is at 45 degrees, and AD is the aggregate demand curve. On the x-axis, we have level of output or employment, and on the y-axis, we have taken it as expenditure. Now, moving ahead, we notice initially, guys, we see that AD1 and our equilibrium line, which is in black, they intersect at point E1, which is the equilibrium level, and the output over here is Q1. Fine. Now, due to increase in aggregate demand, our aggregate demand shifts from AD1 to AD2. Now this curve has shifted from AD1 to AD2, and we have got a new equilibrium where Y and AD2 intersect, which is E2, and at this level we have reached QF, which is the full level of employment. Now beyond this there is a problem. Now what happens, due to some reason our aggregate demand further increases from 82, we reach to 83. Now at this point already we have reached full employment, so how will we increase our output? So basically this gap, which is between 82 and 83, or you can say between E3 and E2, which is E3 is our equilibrium, and this gap is known as the inflationary gap. So inflationary gap concept is a pretty important concept to be studied, and basically we need to study this so that we can find out how to use our monetary and fiscal measures to control inflation. Lastly, moving ahead to the concept of deflation and deflationary gap. So what is exactly deflation? Deflation is the persistent fall in the general price level over a period of time, and in this case the value of money is increasing. Basically it's just the vice versa of what we study for inflation. Coming now to the concept of deflationary gap, this is also very similar to the concept of inflationary gap. So in this case we notice that when the aggregate demand falls, the expenditure falls short of the total output, which ultimately leads to the prices to fall. So this is basically a part which you need to remember, and this prices falling will definitely create a deflationary gap. Now coming to the diagram, you will be much more clearer with the explanation. So we have the level of output again on the x-axis and expenditure on the y-axis. Y is our equilibrium or the income line, and AD is our aggregate demand curve. So we notice that our first AD, that is AD1, now we see the above one line, is intersecting with the income line at point E1, which is the equilibrium level of output, and at this point our output is Q1. Right. Now due to some reason our aggregate demand falls from AD1 to AD2. We've moved down on this curve. We notice that our equilibrium has changed from E1 to E2. Now the output cannot contract to Q1 from Q1 to Q2, basically thus creating a deflationary gap situation. So this gap between AD1 and AD2 is the gap known as deflationary gap. So I hope you're clear with these concepts, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video pretty soon.